What I'm going to talk about today is creativity. We are creative beings. We come from a place of creativity. And we're talking about the fact that everyone is part of this creation. We are creative beings. In the Torah, right away, right at the beginning of the Torah, in the beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth, when the earth was astonishingly empty, the darkness upon the surface of the deep, and the divine presence hovered upon the surface of the waters, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And that's the beginning of the whole creative process of creating this planet, the light on the planet, the experience of the planet. So we know that there's a creative source that made this planet exist. So Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan talks about something. He says, why did God create the world? God had absolutely no need to create the world because God himself is absolute perfection and has no need for anything, even creation. We're talking about consciousness in the universe, a source so wise, so brilliant as to be able to create anything that this source wants to create. So we're talking about an amazing brilliance that we can't see. We can't see this brilliance. But it's conscious energy, and it's created this universe, and it's created this planet. So he says, when God created the world, he therefore performed the most perfect possible act of altruism and love. God has no needs or wants, and therefore there was nothing about him that creation could satisfy. In other words, we're talking about an invisible consciousness, conscious energy that has no need to create anything or be anything or do anything. As far as we know, this is the conscious source of all life. We have no way of knowing the details of this, although I do have some scientific information I want to share with you as well, just to let you know what the physicists are doing. So he says, God has no needs or wants, and therefore there was nothing about him that creation could satisfy. Because what we understand in Judaism is that God simply is. We can't describe who God is or where God is. All we can say is that there is a consciousness somewhere that has created this, in some way has created this planet. So it was therefore the most perfect possible act of love. Now, to say it's love is confusing because we know of love as having a relationship with another person, or loving a puppy, or loving a child, or loving ice cream, or loving the world even. But from our perspective, we can't understand necessarily that there's a brilliant consciousness who's actually loving what's been created. So I want to talk about the fact that love is harmony. Love is when you meet someone and you fall in love with them, it's because they resonate in you a kind of balance, a kind of equilibrium that makes you feel like everything's all right with the world. So the higher love is about the same harmony. When you meet someone and they resonate with you, there's a harmony to it. There's a balance to it. There's an equilibrium to it. This is a very powerful concept. I know it takes time to absorb it. But the world has been created in a harmony of love. The whole planet is in balance. The whole universe is in balance. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to go around the sun the way we do and have all the other planets go around the way they do. So it's all coordinated in a way that's in balance. And when we meet another person and we fall in love, we're in balance with that person. There's a resonance that makes us connect, that makes us get along. And that's the balance, that's the harmony. So what I'm saying is that when they speak of an act of love, that God was giving an act of love, God was giving an act of harmony, of balance, of creating this for us to experience. So we could experience this love. We could experience this balance and this harmony. And this is what we crave. I mean, people crave love. People search for love. They want this love. And I just heard something wonderful today where someone was explaining this, and he was saying, we have something inside of us that is yearning for love. And when we really get in touch with what's inside of us, yearning for love, we can find that the love is already there. It's everywhere. It's this balance, this harmony, the divine harmony, the harmony of God that we are experiencing. When we reach this level of love, the love we're yearning for, we feel this balance, we feel this harmony with the entire world. But I'm talking about enlightenment now, where you come to such a stage of awareness inside of you that you're in harmony with the whole world. You're not just in harmony with one other person, you're in harmony with every person. And it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's very powerful. So I wanted to talk about what Rav Kook says about this, because he talks about the fact that we have this creativity in us. We are able to connect with each other and to connect with the rest of the world with this kind of love, the deep, powerful love that is in us. And when we create an object, I'm trained as an architect, so when I design a space or a building, I'm in harmony with that process. The love that comes through me, the creativity that comes through me, brings me in harmony with that project. And that's a form of love too. And when we write poetry or we sing a song, that's also the energy, the creative energy coming out of us. We're expressing ourselves in different ways. So we're expressing the love when we do these creative acts. And when people get a blockage, when they can't write or they can't create in some way, or they can't draw, they can't design something new, it's because they've stopped their access to the love that's inside of them. That's their struggle, that it's restraining them. So they have a hard time in expressing it. And the best cure for that is to just stop and learn to tune into the love that's inside of us again. And then the creative process will start to flow again. The love is real and it's inside of you, and it's not from somebody else. It's inside of you. So what Rav Kook says is that this love is the source of all creativity. And he says, when you get that source of creativity, you can't help yourself. You have to express it. So learning to tune into the love is an amazing thing. You have to express it. And I remember when I was studying architecture, and I had this wonderful teacher. She was from Italy. She had a PhD in architecture from Rome, no less. And she said, if I can't create, I would die, she said. And I could totally understand that. If you've got something going on inside of you, you want to express it, because it's this love that's coming out that wants to share with the rest of the creation. You know, this love is the love of everything that exists. once you tune into it, it comes through to everybody else. You express it to everybody else. So we all have this creativity in us. We are made in the image of this creative source. So we all carry this creativity within us. And what he's saying is, if you just superficial study, if you just look at it from the surface, he says it will narrow your thought. It will confine what you have to give to the world. He says it aborts it at birth. In other words, you can have this feeling, you can have a great idea, you can have a great concept, you can have the dream of something, of creating something. But then if you say, well, I can't really do it, or I don't know if this is right, and without even trying to express it, he says this is the sickness of narrowness of thought, because you're holding back the creativity that's inside of you. So he said, with all one's strength, one must liberate oneself from this in order to free the soul from its narrow confines, to redeem it from its Egypt, from the house of bondage. So it's inside every single one of us. It's the creativity and it's the love. We have to learn how to release it. When people are creative, when they're artists, they're writers, there's songwriters, they're poets, actors, they express this in everything they do, in all the work they do. So I don't know if any of you are working on creative projects or are trying to work on creative projects. Sometimes it's the creative project is you. Sometimes you need to create your own life, right? So you become the project of creativity, that you have to develop what your life is, and how to express it in a way that will enhance your experience of life and other people's experience of you. Isn't that what it's all about? We have to do that from birth, but we learn as we get into adulthood that it's not as simple as just being taken care of by our parents. We then have to do it for ourselves.